You don't understand what cold means until you've worked in Siberia. Not the cold of winter. I'm talking about the deep cold, the kind that sinks into your bones, the kind that's been asleep in the permafrost for tens of thousands of years. My name is Dr. Marcus Hale. I'm a field archaeologist with the International Glacial Preservation Initiative. 2 months ago, we were stationed in the Yamal Peninsula, drilling through ancient ice layers near an impact site that had been buried since the Pleistocene. At first, everything was textbook mammoth bones, pollen samples, stone tools, crude, primitive. But then, 67 meters down, we hit metal. At that depth, in that region, it should have been impossible. We cleared the area, melted back layers of ice with heat drills, and uncovered what looked like a door, not a hatch, not a cave opening, a perfect circular door, 2.3 meters tall, made of a black alloy we couldn't identify. No hinges, no seams, no inscriptions, just a faint spiral carved into the center. And when we touched it, it hummed. We called in the lead researcher, Dr. Ivana Kolesnikova, brilliant, skeptical, fearless. She ran spectral scans. The results came back with a line that made my stomach drop. Composition, unknown. Age, Precambrian. That would make it over 540 million years old, before trees, before dinosaurs, before life as we know it. The next morning, the door was open. No sound, no warning, just open. Inside, we found a tunnel descending at an angle, walls smooth, warm. To the touch, emitting no heat signatures yet melting the ice around it. And that's when the dreams began. Everyone on the team started reporting the same nightmare. Spiral. Endless turning, voices chanting in a language none of us recognized, and something watching from within it, not angry, not curious, hungry. 2 of the workers left the site without a word, just dropped everything and walked into the snowstorm. We never found them. Then Kolesnikova changed. She stopped eating, stopped talking, just stared into the tunnel for hours, whispering numbers. Backwards, we sealed the entrance, tried to report the site to Moscow, but the satellite uplink was dead. Not damaged, gone. Melted clean through, like it had never existed. Last night I followed a low vibration coming from the tunnel, and I saw something written on the ice wall above the door. New, carved from the inside. 3 words. In English, "You woke it." We argued for hours. Half the team wanted to evacuate. The other half, they weren't right anymore. They were quiet, too quiet. They stood near the tunnel for hours at a time, like they were listening to something. We couldn't hear. Sometimes their noses bled, sometimes they laughed, but only when no one was speaking. Kolesnikova hadn't blinked in 2 days. She kept scribbling something in her notebook, repeating a phrase over and over. The spiral isn't a symbol. It's a shape the mind takes when it breaks. I should have run, but curiosity is louder than fear, at least at first. We descended into the tunnel, 5 of us, suited, armed with sensors, lights, backup oxygen. But the deeper we went, the warmer it got. Not just in temperature, in sensation. It was like walking into something's lungs. The walls pulsed, not with movement, with rhythm. A frequency, low and slow, that made our teeth ache. No lights, no sounds. Only the soft crunch of boots against the frozen floor. Until we reached the chamber. It was massive, a cavern, spherical. The walls were smooth, reflective, but not mirrors. They showed us versions of ourselves. I saw myself as a child, then as an old man, then something else. Not human, but it wore my face. One of the team, Varga, walked up to one of the walls and reached out. The surface didn't ripple. It opened. He vanished. No sound. No scream. Just gone. We tried to backtrack, but the tunnel had shifted. The path behind us didn't match the one we came down. It had grown longer. That's when the whispers started. Not from the walls, from inside our helmets. Voices calling each of us by name, not yelling. Not begging, inviting. I looked at Kolesnikova. She was smiling. Her eyes had turned completely black. No iris, no white, just endless, bottomless void. She said one sentence before walking straight into the center of the chamber. It remembers the ones who built it, and then the floor opened, not like a trapdoor, more like a pupil dilating. From the center rose something impossible. It wasn't alive in any traditional sense. It wasn't mechanical either. It was architecture that thinks, form shaped by thought, shifting geometry. The closest word I can use is monumental. It looked like a cathedral made of bone and memory. Its edges flickered like bad reception, like it existed in two realities at once. Dropped my light, that's when I saw them, figures, and standing in the far walls, frozen, encased in translucent resin, not corpses, preserved, eyes wide open, still breathing, faint, shallow breaths. Some looked human, some didn't. One of them looked exactly like me. I ran. I don't remember how I got out. I don't remember how much time passed. But when I surfaced, there were no tents, no team, just snow, and footprints leading back toward the dig site. All of them mine. I don't know how long I was out. When I came to, I was lying in the snow. The sky was clear, the camp was gone, no tents, no gear, no signs of life, as if we had never been there at all. But the tunnel, still there. The black door, half buried in ice, like a lid cracked open on a coffin that breathes only now. It was pulsing, not with sound, with presence. I wandered for hours trying to find any sign of my team, but everything was wiped clean, not destroyed, erased. And that's when I understood. We didn't find this place. It found us. This was never an archaeological site. This was a trap, or worse, a transmitter. Ever since I surfaced, I've been hearing things, not voices, instructions, spoken just below the level of thought. You are the bridge. The spiral remembers. Bring us into thought. My dreams no longer make sense. I don't dream of people anymore. I dream of architecture, endless halls, rooms that breathe, ceilings that melt into bone, and always. It is there, the thing beneath the ice. It doesn't speak, but it teaches. It shows me flashes, civilizations turned to dust, languages carved into time, symbols etched into the minds of species long dead, and one phrase, always repeating, you. Woke it. Last night I dreamed I was back home in a hospital, but no one had eyes. They stood around my bed staring with sealed faces, and they said in perfect unison, "We're inside now." Thank you. When I woke up, there was something on my arm, not written, not burned, grown. The same spiral, but now, open, and I can feel it. Something is coming through. The ice is just a surface. The structure below is a womb. And we, humans, we were never meant to be the explorers. We were meant to be the midwives. I don't know how long I have. But if you're hearing this, don't go to Siberia. Don't look for the site. Don't follow the spiral. Don't try to understand what sleeps below the permafrost, because it's not sleeping, it's watching, and now it knows your name too. I made it out of the ice. At least that's what I tell myself. I was found 2 weeks later by a rescue drone, nearly frozen, dehydrated, starving, delirious. They flew me to Novosibirsk, then to a US military hospital in Germany. I thought I was safe. I thought it was over. It wasn't, because something came back with me. The doctors ran every test imaginable, no frostbite, no brain damage, but there was something else, subtle. Deep in the neural scans, a pattern, fractal, recursive. It shouldn't be there. One doctor said, half joking, "Your brain's running some kind of code." Then he stopped laughing and requested reassignment the next day. I was told to rest, to recover. But every night I dream of spirals. Not just shapes, doors, opening, unfolding. And every time I wake up, the dreams stay with me a little longer. It started small, a flicker in the corner of my eye, reflections in windows that didn't match my movements, whispers in white noise. Then it got worse. A nurse entered my room and froze in place. Her pupils dilated. She whispered, "The spiral is awake." Then she blinked, confused, like she blacked out. Another patient was found drawing symbols on the wall in blood. Spirals, eyes, and a word, over and over, remember. The doctors moved me to an isolated ward, No TV, no internet, only silence. But the silence isn't empty anymore. It's watching me, and I think it's learning, not just from me, from everyone who hears about this, from you. Because it isn't physical, it's mimetic. It spreads through knowledge, through thought. Every person who knows about it becomes a transmitter, a doorway. The more I talk, the more I remember. The more I remember, the more it feeds, and the stronger it becomes. They brought in a psychologist to evaluate me. I told her about the chamber, about the entity, about the visions, the resonance. She nodded calmly, took notes. Then she drew the spiral on her notepad without realizing. She gasped, dropped the pen, then looked me in the eyes and said, "I've seen this before in my dreams since I was a child. I wasn't the only one. Somehow this thing has touched others, across generations, across continents, like it's been leaking into our world for centuries, waiting for someone to activate it. I was just the key, but now the door is open. It's not just in the ice anymore. It's in minds, in memory, in symbols, in language, and every time someone repeats the story, writes it, draws it, reads it, it gets closer. You may not believe me now, you might finish this and think it's just a story, but tonight, when you're alone, when your thoughts start to drift, if you dream of something winding, twisting, whispering, from a place you can't see, then you'll know you're part of it now.